And then I fell in love with a Native Alaskan man, and now I am in a 12-foot by 12-foot ancient log cabin without running water or electric heating. We are miles north of the Arctic Circle, on the banks of the Yukon River. Off the road system, the village is the largest of all the Athabascan villages on the Yukon River, with a booming 500 people. So it is just a lot of hard work to live here. It's epically beautiful, but you have to constantly haul water and chop wood and prepare for the long winter, where it gets to be 72 below zero. Yes, and we had an outhouse. So I have been living there, and my friends and family were worried about me, and I was worried too, because it's so much work, and I was afraid that I wasn't strong enough to live here in this little village in northern Alaska. So I was due for a visit, and my cousin was getting married down in California, and I had two options to get there. So I could take a 2-hour bush plane flight down to Fairbanks, or I could go with my boyfriend on a 220-mile canoe trip downriver, where his brother would pick us up at the bridge and drive us to Fairbanks. I love an adventure, and I had done little river floats before. I figured it would be relaxing. Day 1. It is not relaxing. I quickly learned that to navigate an enormous wild river like the Yukon, you have to stay in the main channel of the river. But because it's a wild river, the main channel whips back and forth across the land like an enormous snake. And what that means is literally paddling for miles and miles and miles to get to the other side, just to have to paddle back. It was exhausting, and I didn't know if I could do it, but it was already too late. The river was far too strong to turn around. Day 2. It's hot, very hot, in the high 90s, yes, in Alaska. And it's because it was summer solstice, so the sun just painted a circle in the sky without setting. I wanted to see that. The sun painting a circle in the sky on summer solstice. And we forgot sunblock, yes. So we smear mud all over our faces and shoulders to keep from burning. Day 3. We haven't seen another human since we left the village. It is as remote as it is pristine. We see porcupine and beavers and grizzly bears. It is like a private tour through National Geographic. Day 4. The plan is to get to the little village that's near the bridge that night so we can meet his brother the next morning. But day 4 comes and goes with no village in sight. So I asked my boyfriend, well, how long did it take you last time you did this? He says, what do you mean last time? He's never done this before. Day 5. I'm supposed to be on a flight to California tonight, and we are still canoeing and paddling back and forth across this enormous river. There's no GPS, there's no mile markers, no way to know how far we've come. We finally see the little village, hours after we're supposed to meet his brother. There's also no way to get a hold of him. It's the turn of the century. And we just have to hope that he's waiting for us. And even though we are already very late, we have to stop in the little village. Because if you didn't know, it's very rude to pass a village of only 40 party people and not stop. But we're so glad we did, because they tell us valuable information. They say that when you see the canyon, make sure to enter on one side, because on the other side of the canyon, there is a massive whirlpool. They say it's no joke. It's an eddy that's a half-mile wide. People have died in this thing. So we get back on the river, and I'm so relieved that we're almost done. I'm daydreaming about the hot shower waiting for me in Fairbanks. We see the canyon, and we can't remember which side we're supposed to go on. We didn't write it down, and there is no time to talk about it. All we can do is try our best to stay in the current of the main channel. And it seems like we are. We're moving along at a fast clip, getting closer and closer to the canyon, but then all of a sudden, we are going in the wrong direction. We're in the whirlpool. We are fighting, we're angling it and pushing as hard as we can to get out, and we just keep whipping back around. An hour goes by. I can't keep doing this. I am so exhausted. I say, I can't keep paddling. My boyfriend says, there's no other way. Paddle, paddle. Another hour goes by. It feels like pushing shovels through drying cement. I don't want to die here. There is no one to save us. I close my eyes and I push so hard I can feel my muscles tearing. And I think it works. We think it works. We think the mic just went out. Did I turn it off? We think it works. I don't know what happened to it. I can talk louder.
We can hear you.
So we think it works. Oh my God, we get to the canyon. It does work. We see the bridge. We pull over to the side. We're just trembling and shouting at the top of our lungs. Oh my God, we're out. I collapse to the ground. My entire body is just pulsating. I take a deep breath and I look up to see my boyfriend's brother. He's still there. He's been waiting for us all day, over 12 hours. He says he was about to pitch his tent for the night. We check the time. My flight is boarding in 3 hours. We are 3.5 hours from Fairbanks. He says, I can do it. He drives like a bat out of hell. We get to the airport. I run up to my gate, stumble onto the plane, and every single person looks at me. Because I have been canoeing and camping for 5 days straight, and there's no time for a shower. When I get to California, I still have mud on my face. I had wanted to show my friends and family that I was okay, and instead I have the largest muscles I've ever had. I have these ridiculously swollen Popeye forearms. When I go back to the village, I do fly this time. I have a new respect for how remote we are, for the power of the Yukon River, for the importance of writing things down. And I no longer question my own strength, because you can't know if you're strong enough for something until you do it. And after 5 winters living in northern Alaska, I know that I am strong enough for anything. Woo!